Good evening and welcome again to Folk Beeston and our third club show. And it's me, Colin, and Andy, as you can see. And also we have a guest in the room with us. So Andy, would you like to tell us who that is and what the heck he's doing here?
Okay, well, it's a special delight to have Paul here, who's going to invite us to a discussion. Over to you, Paul.
Yes, hello everybody. It was an idea that I had and we discussed between the three of us about how we identify some of the things that make the atmosphere at the folk club so good when we're actually meeting somewhere like the Jolly Anglers, and then consider how we perhaps get some of that back, how we sort of replicate the atmosphere in different ways while we're just in an online environment. So it's really just about, what is the vibe of the club and how can we do more to make an online folk club like a real one.
Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. So over to Colin, we'll tell you how to get in touch with us.
Okay, well, the meeting is actually going to be on Monday, the 20th of April at 8 o'clock in the evening. Put that in your diary. And if you'd like to be involved, you need us to invite you, and in order to do that you need to send us a request. So you can best do that by going to our website, which is www.folkbeeston.club. Look for the contact page and you can contact us that way. The discussion will be over Zoom, which some of you may have used. If not, then download the app. It's free to do, and hope to see you, some of you there at least. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Colin, and thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
We look forward to seeing you on Monday the 20th. Okay, Colin, would you like to introduce our first guest?
Well, I would do, yeah. And as they literally say, this first guest needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him a very brief one. He actually introduced himself and his song, but it's none other than our organizer and co-founder, John Chambers.
Hello, everyone, and my sincere thanks, first of all, to Colin and Andy and to Phil and to Steve and anyone else putting this wonderful show together and keeping us all in touch. That's fantastic, and keep up the good work. Difficult times. Here's a song from my old friend Reg Cooper, his repertoire, which I think is appropriate for the occasion. Reg helped me start the club all those years ago. It's a good joining in song in the key of E, D on the second fret for those like me, and do try and play along and sing along. It's called Keep on the Sunny Side of Life. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with darkness and strife, the sunny side will always come through. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will guide us on our way. If we keep on the sunny side of life. Oh, the storm in its fury blew today, blushing hopes that we cherish so near. Storm and cloud will pass away. The sun will shine again bright and clear. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will guide us on our way. If we keep on the sunny side of life. Let us greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moment be brief, moment be buried or fair, join in our Saviour always to keep us all safe in His care. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all our ways. If we keep on the sunny side of life. If we keep on the sunny side of life. Sorry about the mistake there, but it wouldn't be folk music without the odd mistake. Keep safe, everyone. Listen to the advice, and let's all hope we're going to meet up again together before too long. Keep enjoying this wonderful music, and thanks again to everyone. Bye.
And thanks, John. Lovely song. And in fact, as you can see, I've got John here in our virtual club room. Hello again, John. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Colin.
Yeah.
To each other.
Yeah.
Good way to meet up.
Now, you told us on the video a bit about that song. Any particular reason you chose that song?
Well, I was trying to find a song that was optimistic and in a happy mood despite the challenges of today. And another one was "You Are My Sunshine." I thought about that, but that actually has verses about a broken affair. He wakes up without his true love by his side.
Yeah, so not that.
I also thought of John Denver's "Sunshine on My Shoulder," which, if this goes on for a while and I do another song, perhaps I'll think about that. But I just think this has an optimistic side to it, which at the moment we all need, and it's the best way to stay sane, I suppose. But,
yeah.
And I thought the sentiment was just the right sort of sentiment.
Yeah. Well, it's a good choice.
It's a good joining in. A good joining in song, either playing along or singing along, or both. So
yeah, nice.
hopefully people.
Now we're all having quite a steep learning curve, learning to use the equipment we've got and some of the apps that we've had to download. Was this actually the first time you've ever recorded yourself singing?
It is indeed, yes.
Yeah.
I've had a few challenges, but you've been very helpful. And well.
I'm not fishing for compliments, but I thought you did a good job actually. In the end, it was a strong performance, and the video was pretty good. But we've all had to, as I say, that steep learning curve. We've had a few videos in, obviously, from some of our regulars who we're trying to focus on. What would you say to all of us out here in second time around folk club land about doing some videos?
Well, all I would say to encourage those who have not done it before is, if I can do it, I'm sure you can. I think I'm finally emerging into the late 20th century at last, and I might, if this goes on much longer, emerge into the 21st century. But if I can crack it, it was slightly tricky at times, but I was surprised how fairly straightforwardly I got into it eventually. And
it's a bit strange. It's a bit strange, isn't it? It's just singing to an empty room and getting no kind of response, which is not what we expect at folk club, even if they're only chucking things.
Yes.
But yeah, you made the point also. Sorry, John, were you going to say something?
You just find yourself very self-conscious. Your little mannerisms that you're not normally aware of are there, but you just overlook those and think,
that's right, you have to.
It's a folk club.
That's right.
So
anyway,
we enjoy it.
Lovely to talk to you again, John, and to actually talk face to face, which we haven't done since all this started. Thanks for all the support to Andy and Mick now, who's joined our little team, and me to get this thing going. So
as I keep saying, I'm more than grateful to all of you for the effort you're putting in. It's a terrific effort you're doing. It keeps us in touch, and let's carry on using these wonders of technology. And as I said in my song, let's keep on the sunny side.
Let's indeed. That's great. That's great, John. Anyway, thanks ever so much. And next up is Elaine Chipchase.
Love to everybody.
Hello, Elaine. Welcome to the show. And
hello, Andy.
What got you into folk singing?
What got me into folk singing? Oh, gosh. Well, I play classical guitar, as you know, and I've played classical guitar for many years. And I have a friend who sings. So over the years, we've got together and sung and played. And she sings lute songs and traditional folk songs, and I've always accompanied her. So when we met last time, we did a recital, which was very nice. And then I thought, this is really impossible. She lives in Worcester, I live in Nottingham. How are we going to rehearse? So I thought, I know what, I shall sing instead of her singing. I shall sing and accompany myself. And so that's what I did. Started to do folk songs with a classical guitar accompaniment. That was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, which you do very successfully. And one of your sources of inspiration comes from a book. Now, let me get it right. Is it called Purges for Melancholy?
No, Pills to Purge Melancholy.
Tell us all about that and how people get
Well,
hold of it.
this is a guy called Thomas Durfee, and he compiled these volumes from 1690 to 1720, I think. And they're all songs that he called Songs of Wit and Mirth, because they were supposed to cheer you up. And one of the volumes was called Pills to Purge Melancholy, and that's the name that's stuck. And they're all on the internet, so anybody can go on the internet and have a look through these.
Great. Okay, so tell us about the song you're going to do for us now.
This is the Cuckoo, a traditional English folk song, one of many versions, but this particular version was collected by Cecil Sharp from Somerset. And I'm playing an accompaniment by John Duart. And John Duart was a 20th century composer for the guitar, and he wrote a lot of guitar stuff based on English folk tunes. And he wrote a lot of guitar things as well with other instruments. So this piece actually comes from a piece he wrote for treble recorder and guitar. So I'm singing the treble recorder part and accompanying myself. And I think it works quite well.
It certainly will. We're looking forward to hearing it. So let's go for it. Thanks very much for joining us, Elaine. Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, we're getting to the time in spring when we should be hearing the first cuckoo. So I thought I'd sing a traditional folk song called The Cuckoo. And really it's about telling lies, or the consequences of telling lies. The cuckoo is a pretty bird, she singeth as she flies, she brings us good tidings, she tells us no lies, she sucketh sweet flowers to keep the throttle clear, and the more she singeth cuckoo, the summer draweth near. As I was a-walking and talking one day, I met my own true love as he went that way. To meet him was a pleasure, but the courting was a woe, for I found him false-hearted. He would kiss me and go. I wish I were a scholar and could handle a pen. I would write to my lover and all roving men. I would tell them of the grief and woe that attends upon their lives. I would wish them have pity on the flower when it dies.
Hello again, and this time, as you can see, I've got John McCormack in the virtual folk club room with me, and he's the second of, in fact, 3 Johns. So try not to get confused between them all. You can never have too many Johns, can you? Now, John, earlier, John Chambers was on, and he said he thought of doing You Are My Sunshine, which is the song you're going to do. He said he thought it was a bit sad, but, well, what do you think?
Well, it's obviously great minds think alike, you see. Me and John were on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
But I like that song because I just like the tune. I think it's nice. And the lyrics, I don't pretend to listen much to the lyrics. I go more with the tune. So that's why I want. That's why I play it.
It's got a good chorus, isn't it? And I'm sure people will sing along with at home. I think you said
right.
it's in the key of C. So if anybody's got lined up with a guitar or a ukulele, then they can strum along and sing along.
Or even a banjo.
Oh well, we're not. Andy's a bit touchy about mentioning banjo, so we won't. But is that particular song? I mean, it's been around for years and years, but it's kind of popular at the moment, I think, isn't it?
Well, that's right, as I said, because I think this Gareth Malone program has brought it to the fore.
Yeah, is the tune he's doing, is it?
I say, yeah. I think that was his first tune that he started with.
Okay. Well, even more people at home are going to be singing along this time. So here's your chance, folks. It's John McCormack with You Are My Sunshine.
You are my sunshine, and the sun is shining. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. But when I woke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy if you will only say the same. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really love me, and no one else could come between. But now you've left me and love another. You have shattered all of my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Well, it's a great pleasure to welcome John Ledbury. And John, tell us a bit about how you got into folk singing.
Originally via the CND. My sister and I were both members of that, and we used to do a lot of singing skiffle and anti-war type songs. And then she went off to London to be a student, left me behind in Birmingham, and then she got singing with a friend of ours, and they wanted a bass singer, and it didn't take them long to think of one. They got a little brother back home, so they came back home, taught me some songs, and we toted them round the Birmingham folk clubs, and then they disappeared back off to London. But I got a taste for it by then, so I got my first guitar, started learning to play it, and haven't really progressed much since there, but I'm still doing it.
Great. But it's not just singing, is it? Because I think you're a bit more athletic as well.
I'm also into folk dance as well. I got that was in my own student days. I got first into Morris dancing and into sword dancing and anything like that. So yes, I'm old enough to know better, but still at it.
Brilliant. Good way to keep fit. Anyway, tell us about the song you're going to sing today, John.
The song is one of Ewan McCall's, "Sweet Thames Flows Softly," which is reputed to have written in 1968, but I heard him sing it in 1966. It's one of those I can remember exactly where I was at the time. It was during my first year as a student. And it doesn't really matter when, because it has its origins in a 16th century poem by Edmund Spenser, which contains the line, "Sweet Thames flows softly" till the end of my song. And it's been used by a few other people like T.S. Eliot, used the line as well. So it goes well into this song. When I first heard it, I fell in love with the song immediately. And it dates from the time that McCall was running the Singers Club in London. And they had a strict policy: you should only sing songs from your own background. So with that in mind, this is a song written by a Scotsman from Salford about the River Thames.
Great. And for people who want to join in, do you know what key you're doing it in?
In the key of C, yes.
Okay, great. So we'll listen to the song then, John. Thanks very much for coming along. Bye.
Bye.
I met my love at Woolwich Pier, beneath a big crane standing, and oh, the love I felt for her, it passed all understanding. Took her sailing on the river, flow, sweet river, flow. London town was mine to give her, sweet Thames flows softly. Limehouse reach I gave her there, flow, sweet river, flow. As a ribbon for her hair, sweet Thames flows softly. At London Yard I held her hand, at Blackwall Point I faced her. The Isle of Dogs I kissed her mouth, and tenderly embraced her. Heard the bells of Greenwich ringing, flow, sweet river, flow. All the time my heart was singing, sweet Thames flow softly. Made the Thames into a crown, flow, sweet river, flow. Made a brooch of silver town, sweet Thames flow softly. From Shadwell Dock to Nine Elms Reach, we cheek to cheek were dancing. Her necklace made of London Bridge, her beauty was enhancing. Kissed her once again at Wapping, flow, sweet river, flow. After that there was no stopping, sweet Thames flows softly. Richmond Park it was her ring, flow, sweet river, flow. I'd have given her anything, sweet Thames flows softly. From Rotherhithe to Putney Bridge, my love I was declaring, and she from Kew to Isleworth, her love to me was swearing. Love, it set my heart a burning. Flow, sweet river, flow. Never saw the tide was turning. Sweet Thames flows softly. Gave a Hampton court to twist. Flow, sweet river, flow. Into a bracelet for her wrist. Sweet Thames flow softly. But now, alas, the tide has turned. My love, she has gone from me. And winter's frost has touched my heart and put a blight upon me. Creeping fog is on the river. Flow, sweet river, flow. Sun and moon and stars went with her. Sweet Thames flows softly. Swift the Thames flows to the sea. Flow, sweet river, flow, bearing ships and part of me. Sweet Thames flow softly.
Hello again, and as you can see, I've got Oban in the virtual club room with me. There he is, waving at you. Give him a wave. And he's going to do a lovely song that I'm sure you'll know, the Beatles Blackbird. And he introduces it himself on the video, but tell us a bit more about, and I'm particularly interested in how you came up with the guitar part, which sounds very much like the original.
Yeah, so that was through going on YouTube and then also looking at some guitar tab. So first of all, I looked at the tab online on a few websites, and because there's a few tricky bits in there, I also went onto YouTube and I found a couple of kind of tutorials, and they were they'd been done by Beatles fans where they'd broken the song down and then they had the camera focused on the fretboard, so you could see exactly where they were putting their fingers, and that was broken down into little kind of, I think, 10-second sections, so you had time to really get to know it. Yeah, and then also I simplified it a little bit as well, because some of the bits in the original were a bit too tricky for me to get the hang of. So where that happened, then I just kind of removed those bits and just tried to get it down to the kind of essence of the song.
Wow, it's very effective. For those of you who are non-guitarists out there, tab is what guitar, it's a sort of notation form that guitarists use for writing down music and showing people how to play. I've never been able to master it myself, but why particular that song? I mean, of all the songs you could have chosen to do for your first video for the Virtual Folk Club, why did you choose that one?
Well, I mean, as the regulars will know, I normally do a kind of chorus song, but I don't think that lends itself quite so well to this format. So I thought something like Blackbird, which is a bit quieter and a bit more kind of instrumental, might work better for the Virtual Folk Club. And also, I'm just a big fan of Blackbird, and it's one of those songs that I thought that I would learn at some point, so I did.
Well done. Well, let's have a listen. And although you said it's not a sing-along, I bet they're all singing along with this one at home as we play it. Let's have a listen to Oban's version of Blackbird.
Hello all, I'm recording this from my shed on a lovely sunny day. I hope you're all well. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm going to play Blackbird for you. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly, light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night.
Thanks very much, Oban. That was absolutely great. One of my favourites. We're pleased to welcome Steve and Penny Benford along with Colin. And Steve, you look as if you've just returned from a Star Wars set.
Yes, yeah, I am your father, Andy.
Oh,
Okay, thanks, Steve. I think maybe lose the mask so we can hear you. And where's it come from anyway?
Yeah, good idea. Yes, yeah, I didn't want to scare anyone. It was a gift that a student of mine, Chinese student, brought back from China recently. A very kind thought, anyway. So yes.
Right. Well, anyway, back to the music, and we're just going to hear you play a tune for us. Penny, do you want to tell us a little bit about the tune, where you got it from?
Yes, it's a lovely slow air that we first heard played by the band Altan. It's called Dobbin's Flowery Vale.
Okay, you're not playing the flute, are you, this time?
No, it's the B flat whistle.
Mm-hmm.
With Steve on guitar. It's a lovely slow air, and we would have played it probably about 30 years ago for the first time when we played in a band called Bletherskite, who actually did play it the second time around Folk Club. So I'm sure we probably would have played that tune then, which just goes to show that we're very slow at learning new tunes, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. I mean, our regulars will remember you were our last guests in the non-virtual world when you and the rest of the Beeston collective played for our St Patrick's night, which was only 4 weeks ago now.
and pictured behind me.
That's right.
It was a great evening. It was a really great evening.
Yeah, it was nice to look back on, and that picture helps to bring it to mind. Anyway, thanks for doing that, and thanks for doing this video. Let's now listen to Stephen Penny playing Dobbin's Flowery Vale.
Hi there, second time around Folk Club. Hope you're having a good Friday. And so Stephen Penny here will play you a tune. It's a slow air, and it's called Dobbin's Flowery Vale.
Thanks very much, Steve and Penny. What lovely music to finish with today. And we also want to thank Steve for his technical support in getting this whole virtual folk club thing going. So thanks very much, Steve.
And also to Phil Harrison, who has been a member of the production team, but has now sadly decided to move on to take on other online activities with his art groups and Carrington Triangle Folk Club. But we have welcomed Mick Pearce, who comes with not only a fine musical skill set, but also with video editing, and is actually editing this show this week. So we hope that's going to pay off.
Excellent. Yes, thanks to all those people. And of course, thanks to all the artists who've performed this week, and all of you out there. Thanks for tuning in. Before you go, just a reminder of our website address, which is www.folkbeeston.club, lowercase folkbeeston as one word, .club. And you'll find everything there, I think, that you need. We keep it updated regularly, so you'll be able to go and find out about other online activities, including our own YouTube channel, which we've just set up.
Okay, so we look forward to seeing you next Friday at 8 o'clock for an 8:15 show.
Yeah, do tune in.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.